stanza. And yet I could not die. The moving moon went up the sky and nowhere did abide. Softly she was going up, and a star or two beside. The moon continued moving in the sky, followed by one or two stars. It kept on rising softly. The moonlight was cool while the sea was very hot. Thus, the cool moonlight seemed to be mocking at the sultry sea. The silver white moonlight was spread on the surface of the ocean like the hoar frost of spring. But where the shadow of the ship fell, the water seemed to be under some magic spell and it burnt with an awful red color. He looked beyond the shadow of the ship and saw some water snakes. As the water snakes swam, their tracks were light up by the moonlight. These tracks looked brilliantly white, and when they raised their heads, the water falling off their heads looked like flakes of light. The lines are also very important. Beyond the shadow of the ship, I watched the water snakes. They moved in tracks of shining white, and when they reared, the elfish light fell off in hoary flakes. Within the shadow of the ship, I watched their rich attire, blue, glossy, green, and velvet black. They coiled and swam, and every track was a flash of golden fire. The ancient mariner looked within the shadow of the ship and saw a beautiful skin of the snakes. They were all they were of all colors, blue, shining green and black like velvet. They made zigzag movements and the tracks they left behind glowed brightly with golden light. The mariner felt that these colorful water snakes, whose beauty was beyond description, were happy living things. The appreciation of their beauty roused in him sudden tender feeling for them, and unconsciously he blessed them. He had been able to bless them perhaps because his guardian angel had taken pity on him. As soon as he praised their beauty, he was able to pray, and immediately the albatross fell from his neck and fell into the sea like some heavy load. The self same moment I could pray, and from my neck so free, the albatross fell off and sank like lead into the sea. The self same moment I could pray, and from my neck so free, the albatross fell off and sank like lead into the sea. This stanza is also very important for explanation. So you must make rehearsals of doing explanation, taking some lines which I remark, which I quote. You have to take and make rehearsals of doing explanation. A famous critic, Humphrey House, observed that there are 3 points in the poem titled The Ancient Mariner at which the mariner may be said to act. These are the shooting of the albatross, the blessing of the water snakes, and the biting of his arm. The mariner shoots the albatross quite suddenly and unexpectedly. This action is unmotivated and unexplained. It brings into play retributory forces, and the mariner is isolated both physically and spiritually. All activity around him is suspended. The ship stands still, like a painted ship on a painted ocean. The dead bodies of his companions lie on the rotting deck. Then comes the first phase of his recovery. He watches the water snakes moving tracks of shining white. He feels that no tongue can describe their beauty. Against these two undeliberate actions, shooting the albatross and blessing the water snakes, should be set the one clear occasion when the mariner does a deliberate action. In part 3 of this poem, when the mariner are stricken dumb by a brought, he bites his arm, sucks the blood, and finds voice to announce the approach of a spectre ship. The sight of the ship promises hope, but when it comes close to them, death and life in death are discovered in it, and and, and all their hopes are blasted. At the end of this part, the sailors die, cursing him with their eyes, and he alone survives. Okay, students. Now I would like to conclude herewith, and I will do more in your next class. Goodbye and good day. And for all of you, there is a workout for you for today. So, what do you understand by supernatural? What stands for supernatural? Send me your answers on my personal WhatsApp number, not on this WhatsApp group. Okay, send me as quickly as you can. Okay.